to the channel. We are here today, not for the Funkos, but we are here for the books. So this is Comic Wars episode 3. If you haven't already checked out the previous episodes, please go and watch those. They're like, I'm not going to big myself up, they're really good videos. I've had some really good feedback on this series, like I have with my Funko on My Mind series, so I'm just going to keep churning these out. If any of you guys follow my Instagram, you would have seen I put a story poll up to decide what book I review next. It was either Absolute Carnage or Age of Ultron. I think Age of Ultron got the leading vote, but this is in the end, this is the one I actually really wanted to kind of touch upon next. So Age of Ultron's coming, guys. So expect that to be a lengthy video. But for today, we are going to look at Absolute Carnage. This was kindly sent to me by my good friend Jordan, aka JL Collects. As I said before, we kind of trade books once in a while just to see what's good, what's not. I believe he's still got Secret Empire of mine, which is something I'm going to review one day. But that's a really big book, so that might be a two-parter. Anyway, guys, this is Absolute Carnage. This is an absolute beast of a book. It's not a big one. It's about five chapters worth, and I read this in the space of a day, mostly because we're in lockdown, so there's not really a lot else to do. But I sat and read this. I was hooked from the very first chapter. What we're gonna do, guys, just usual. I'm gonna do a brief description. I'm gonna read what it says on the back in other words, and then we're just gonna get straight into it. But I just like to note before we start that this cover art, you may recognise this, is actually there's actually a pop based on this, which I'll put here somewhere. But this is one I really want to get at some point. It's awesome. You've got on the front cover, you've got Carnage kind of looming over the graves of Eddie Brock, Peter Parker, Logan and Rogers, aka Cap and Wolverine. The thing about this story is, you look at it and it kind of comes across as a Carnage independent story, but it's got quite a lot of other characters in it. So we're going to get into this. I'll let you guys see. So I'm going to read to you what it says on the back. For months, the serial killer Carnage has been at the periphery of the Marvel Universe, amassing power in secret by murdering past symbiote hosts and enlisting a cult of brainwashed and bloodthirsty followers. Now with an army at his command, Carnage is poised to write his swan song, a massive massacre the likes of which the Marvel Universe has never seen and may not survive. As you can see, he is pulling the strings here, quite literally. So Carnage is somehow imbued with godlike powers, I believe it's via the god of symbiotes, Null. This story actually leads into the god of symbiote storyline, but there's so much more to this book than just this book. So hopefully I'm gonna get a chance to kind of have a look into all that, the different spin-offs, like Spider-Man and Wolverine, etc. But we're just gonna get into this. I'm gonna show you guys my favorite bits, and yeah. So as I said to you guys, it all leads back to Null, the god of symbiotes, and the first page, it pretty much confirms what I've just said. So this is Null with his army of, I believe that they look like corrupted venoms, but I'm not too sure. I guess that's the symbiotes in their true form. I don't know. As I said, I've got to kind of look into the whole Absolute Carnage line to see what's what. But I was really taken by this book, so I will be checking it out. But some of the artwork in this is absolutely fantastic. So this just kind of setting the story up. These are all the heroes that have had contact with symbiotes in the past. So basically Carnage is going around trying to collect what are called the codexes from each of these heroes, which basically it's gonna make him super strong, and you don't want that because Carnage is psycho enough as it is. So we get into the main story and we catch up with one Edward Brock, He's basically in hiding, like for reasons I'm not too sure. This actually turns out to be his son. Spoiler alert. But that's kind of like one of the main story threads. But here, Carnage has managed to catch up with Eddie, and obviously they've got serious beef because Carnage is like the spawn of Venom. As I said, like this story kind of like involves a lot of other characters, and like I don't think like by looking at that you would expect that. I guess the saying "don't judge a book by its cover" comes to mind, but you almost expect Venom to be involved somehow. But this is another character that I guess you would expect, but it doesn't seem like it'd be as full of Spider-Man storyline, because at the end of chapter 1, up pops Peter Parker. Eddie goes to Spider-Man or Peter for like kind of help, because like he knows as much about symbiotes as Eddie does, if not more, because he was obviously the original like Earthling or human infused with the symbiote. So this is like probably one of the most disturbing bits of the book. So there's a full page spread here of a news report stating a mass grave has been found, and there's loads of bodies being exhumed from there. There's like very like kind of significant key players in the Marvel universe, like members of the Life Foundation, something to do with Fantastic Four, General Ross. But I didn't actually know General Ross was infused with symbiote, because these are all people that have had symbiotes in the past. So clearly the codexes have been extracted from them and they've just been chucked into this grave, which is nasty. Shit really starts to come to shove. Peter and Eddie go to I can't remember his name. The guy's called Rex Strickland, but he's actually a alternate universe version of Reed Richards. So they go to this guy to kind of access a machine that can extract codexes from various like symbiote hosts. But it's kind of like endgame is he lies. It doesn't actually like collect and destroy codexes, it just collects them and kind of stores them. So that's kind of an Achilles heel in the story. Now we're getting to like the kind of actiony set pieces. So yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with that. So these are all inmates at Ravencroft that have been obviously kind of been taken over by Carnage, and they're under his control. Not innocent souls, because they're in Ravencroft in the first place, so they're clearly not innocent, but they didn't ask to be kind of taken over by these symbiotes. So I guess Spider-Man's all about trying to keep them safe. Another like interesting thing about this book is at the end of most of the chapters, you have like a little like almost like police report to read through, and each one's from a like different character's perspective. So there's one from Cletus Cassidy, one from Eddie Brock. I don't know who these guys are, but yeah, obviously you've got some of the Avengers involved in this as well. So there's the Hulk, Captain America, Wolverine. Chapter 4 out of 5 starts with a bang, because Venom has decided that Eddie Brock's no good, so he's taken over the Hulk, which that ain't good. But this kind of like leads into probably one of my favourite frames from this entire book. It's Eddie Brock wielding Captain America's shield and Miles Morales like gauntlets. I think there is gauntlets that allow him to do Venom blasts. Yeah, by the way, Miles Morales gets taken over by Carnage in this at some point, and it's really not pretty. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, he sprouts like 4 other arms, and he ends up all right in the end. But I'm just kind of skipping ahead a little bit because I'm trying to not make this video too long. But that's what happens when Carnage kind of infuses himself with Venom. Ain't good. At the crux of it, this is a symbiote story. You got all these other heroes like as key players, but Venom's really the kind of like hero anti-hero of the story. And Venom Eddie Brock manages to access the codexes in the machine, which I spoke about earlier, and he forms himself a new suit, and he's got wings, and that's sick. So we're at the end of the story now. This pretty much like kind of sets up God of Symbiotes, because Noel is actually awake as a result of what's happened throughout this story. Yeah, the last line is, "Did I say I was your son?" Brock's son to Eddie Brock. That is Absolute Carnage, ladies and gents. It's a brilliant book. If you got access to this, I recommend you go read it. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to be catching up with the Absolute Carnage like kind of range. But that's today's Comic Wars, guys. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you haven't found my muttering on too much. So next Comic Wars is going to be Age of Ultron, and I'll probably put another vote up on Instagram at some point to vote for like number 5. But that'll be somewhere down the line. But for now, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you have, don't forget to leave a subscribe, give us a like, give us a notification, ding the notification bell for more updates, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now.